if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top.
Yo, no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of nothing into something I love. I got a poker face, but honestly, I'm not one to bluff. I flip a switch, never miss, man, I always stay up. Don't let them see you, bitch, always have a plan to stay tough. This life ahead of you ain't easy, it was built to be rough. But that's what makes a personality, is tragedy, bruh. So keep your head on your shoulders. Now we ain't out here moving rocks, we out here moving boulders. Now we ain't getting posterized, we out here making posters, and we ain't got nothing to hide.
What up? Welcome into Pregaming here on Sports Money, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. You know the deal. A little bit of a later start, but we got to go. We got a lot of work to do. Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. You do not need to adjust your screens. It is a massive card tonight. And I had to make sure I got all that action in to get it right. That's the deal here. It's a big one. There's a couple of reasons. One, we have no NHL. Now, we do have Four Nations. We'll talk about Four Nations. I've got two plays for you in the Four Nations Cup. Two, we get the All-Star break coming up. So the NBA is going to be on hiatus for a little while. We got to get these bets in. And three, I really like the college basketball card tonight. Lots of A10 contests. You guys know the deal with me and the A10. We'll talk about some of those trends as well. And why the heck not? Why the heck not get ourselves a big night of action? We have a busy night tonight. Going to be crashing down the UFC card with the First Strike team. Trying to go for 4 in a row. We'll have that out tonight at about 10 o'clock or so. 10 p.m. you can expect to see the First Strike action for the UFC. In the meantime, though, we have a boatload of games to get into here. And college basketball-wise, Robert Morris in Cleveland. We've got St. Bonaventure and Rhode Island in action. We've got Davidson and UMass in action. Xavier and Providence, Oklahoma and Mizzou. Cal and Duke will bring us home. Then we're going to roll into, we're going to go into the NBA as well. Of course, you'll see the deal there. We've got all kinds of things popping off in the NBA. We're going to look at Charlotte and Orlando. We're going to talk at Indianapolis and Houston, Atlanta and the Knicks. The Suns in Houston, Golden State and Dallas. And we'll bring the nightcap home with Memphis and the Lakers. Look, they done us messed up. Every NBA team is in action tonight, so that means can't just leave some of those games on the table. We got to hammer away at them, and that's what we're going to do. So get ready and get set. It's going to be a busy card that we're going to debut, or that we're going to roll through here, and then we will get to business and get everybody off to enjoy their Wednesday evenings. It is Wednesday. It is February 12th already. Can you believe that? Happy third day now, I guess, after the Super Bowl. Oh, look, yesterday, it's funny how things flip-flop. We had a sweep day in the college basketball on Monday. Tuesday rolls around, we get hit with the hammer in college basketball. West Virginia loses by 4. Tough part about a 4-point loss is they drew me in live at minus 135. We took that L. Over. And the Michigan and Purdue game, look, we talked about the pace. We talked about the team points. We talked about their total. 75-73 does not get it done. It's not our total. We had the over 151.5, but it became pretty obvious the first couple of minutes of that game that we weren't going to get there. Tennessee, Rocky Mountain High can screw off. 75-64. They get thumped by Kentucky. Florida +2. The lone bright spot of college hoops last night. Florida +2. They smoked Mississippi State. The best part about that one is they were tied at halftime. I'm sorry, were they tied or were they down? Can't exactly remember. I just remember live betting it at halftime. I think they were tied. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. They came out there and blasted the barn doors off them boys, 81-68 to finish that game off. It was a second half runaway. And then Illinois, makes me want to throw up. They were up huge. They were up, 16 points with 4 minutes to go? Is that the deal? 3.5, maybe, something like that? And they lost. Well, they didn't cover. They lost a cover. They won against UCLA, but 5-point game. Oh, it hurts my feelings. That's what it does. Oh, it's been a busy day today. What went well in the NBA? Yeah, the Knicks and the Pacers game smoked the total. 239.5. It just knocked it right out of the park. 244, 243, something like that. How about the parlay? Toronto +9 and Memphis money line. That's a winner for us. Got that dub in the bank. And we got the under in that Toronto game. A little double dippish. Now, in hindsight, we probably should have laid the 4.5 with Memphis and taken Toronto on the money line. But look, we did cash the under 224.5. So all in all, middling day. Keeps us in the fight. It's only right that we find a way to fire and got these bullets to fire tonight. So let's go. You guys know the deal. Again, a late start for me, so I apologize, and I appreciate everybody keeping me in these fucking group chats that just keep going off. It's enough. It's enough already. Everyone got the message. There's sick dudes and there's late shit happening. We got it. Stop fucking messaging. Let me turn this off. Giddy up, boys and girls. It's go time. Best in the business assemble here. And you know what they do when they first get in here? They smash the thumbs up button. You got to ask yourself this. Are you one of those? Are you one of the best of the best? Have you smashed the thumbs up button? Do you like seeing the video? Do you like hearing me talk about growing this community? And you do so by supporting us and smashing that thumbs up button. We are viewer supported. You guys haven't become silver or gold members yet. Look, it's very important. Being viewer supported, trying to grow this thing, trying to continue to reach more people. Two things happen. One, the thumbs up button is huge. Two, if you've been gifted a bronze membership, you got a bronze membership, go get yourself a silver or gold. Lots of you guys have been asking. You want more plays. We put out an 8-pack of action today. Not our best action, but 8 plays out there. Just kind of that's the idea behind it. There's afternoon things happening. We don't have a show going on. And we want to give you guys some plays that we're involved with ourselves personally. And that is the best way to achieve that is by becoming a silver or gold member. Theoretically, the tiers have silver for weekday plays. And then gold members would get weekend plays and weekday plays. But we're slowly staggering this thing. And I snuck some bronze plays out there yesterday. They went 2-1. Bronze, silver, and gold. All got them premium plays. Look, it comes out to $5 a month. It's 16 cents a day. Get yourself some extra action. Get our best bets, our premiums, our favorite spots for just a couple of cents a day. But before you do that, smash that button. Yeah, I'll tell you what really happened. And I'm not going to out anybody. Some of you may be in here as well. But what happens is somebody will reach out on a Saturday and they'll be like, hey, no, you're not going live for a couple hours. What do you think about this game? And so I know myself, I know all the fellas will cap the games or we're accessible very easily by DM on X. And they'll be like, hey man, really appreciate if you could give me some feedback on this game. And hey, you know what? I'll send you a tip if it wins. Now we enter scumbag status because they don't tip. I can recognize one person that did. And so it creates an awkward conversation. Don't be a scumbag. So we figured, you know what? Not to let everybody else miss out on those plays either. If we're going to cap them, let's put them out there to the market, to you guys looking for those plays. And, listen, fee for service, I guess, but super inexpensive and going to be the wave of the future. So, not just here, but everywhere. Gonna have to pony up for a couple of dollars. If you can't afford 16 cents a day, you shouldn't be doing this. That's what you shouldn't be doing. Let's go, you guys. Shout out to everybody here in the chat. We're gonna move quickly so that we can get this show on the road. I'm gonna shout all you guys out. I would shout you all out. I'm gonna shout out the plays that I see in the chat here. Louisville for our guy Gerald Jones. His best bet, Louisville first half, -4. He's 7-5 on his totals, on his plays. The Futon Bets has got a little Grizzlies action. Appreciate you guys here coming in. Just being patient with me. That's very important. Zope says Red Storm inbound. Can't be any geek off the street. Gotta be handy with the steal. Perky says, let's go St. John's. Good to see Perky in the house. Let's go. Irish King got huge bags last night. DJ already said Joe T's sleeping too. Joe T's got some things going on. Sometimes life intersects the business side of things and you got to deal with it. and that's what he's doing. All's good, though. We love Joe. Good to hang out with Joe last night. Had that nice live stream. That was a lot of fun. 6 games on tape. Can you believe that? Zoe, all over these road faves early. St. John, Xavier, Ole Miss, Louisville. Then big bullies late with Duke, Texas Tech, and New Mexico. I like the way you phrase that, Zoe. Let's go. Nasty Nate says, hit the like on the way in. That's very important. The least you guys can do for us out there. Gravy bets. Shout out to my friend Wine Time Sports. Says Villanova underway. Okay. Stop Geo. Rolling with Cat, 25 plus points at minus 110. He's been great on the second night of the back-to-backs this year. Look at that. 46, 24, 30, 44, 26, 25, and 27. Get the pen out. Okay, I got it out. Like to see that. Let's go. And we got our guy, Nasty Nate. Providence, Rhode Island, Celtics. 3 losses. I'm nervous about that Bonaventure game. I think they're going to end up pulling this one out. I don't know about Providence. I can see Providence win. Boston ain't win. Maybe they win on the money line. Maybe they do. Oh, look at this. Speaking of last night, a lot of fun. Shout out to my friend Ramon Scott. He's running so hot. Sports makes money, and we make money betting. That's why we bet sports money every day. How about that, Ramon Scott? How about that? Spurs plus 8.5 for our guy Redbeard in the house. Appreciate you guys being ready to go. Ready for the action. Our guy Redbeard gifted a sports money membership as well. He's ready to go. He's gifted a membership. He's helping us build this community. Shout out to my friend Redbeard. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Building this thing. Helping these guys get their foot in the door. Now it's just $5 more to get out there and become a silver member if you got the gift from our friend Redbeard. Growing this damn thing with us day by day, brick by brick. Peter says 16 cents a day. Working on that. Great deal for this content. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for. Hey, some of you guys want it. Some of you don't. That's okay too, but we want to give it to you guys if it's what you want. Redbeard says he wants the Sixers minus 2.5. Blake M's back and rocking with us on Iowa 5.5. And Blake M likes the South Carolina first half spread. All right, we got a massive card to bang away here. And I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna fly. Like an eagle. Like a fly, eagles fly. Shout out to Dana Delt. Canada versus Sweden in this puppy. Gonna be fun. I know we talked a little bit about an all-star game, and in lieu of the all-star game, last night we talked about this. We get the 4 nations face-off. Listen, I love international hockey. I think it's the best. I can remember back in the day when the IIHF, they had the wider rinks. It generated more play, more agility. The younger, the smaller guys, the quicker guys had the flash and dash. It led to more open play, more cycling, just more movement of the puck. And then when they move back to the U.S.-style rinks, it's just hard-hitting bruisers, popping dudes around there, and you get physical, you get fighting. And I think it's cool, though. Look, Canada, I think, is stacked. They got, I'm second-guessing my thoughts on USA. I didn't think USA was going to stand a chance here, but I'm going to tell you this. I looked at the lineups last night for USA. I looked at the power play lineups particularly, and I think that's where these games are going to be won or lost. It's going to come down to these special teams. I like what USA's got. I like that they're running the 4th forward out there on their power play 1 line as well. They're looking to score. They want to see goals in this thing out there, and Canada and USA odds are both plus 160. God, I think Canada's just stacked. Canada's round robin points over 5.5 as a prop bet. You could jump in it at minus 150. Trap God I was going to make that point. Trap God. Thank you. Let me get my tongue out of my mouth there. I do think that, having Hellebuck is a hell of a difference. Leads me to another thought. Hellebuck is the MVP of the tournament. I expect it to be Canada versus the U.S. in the final. Also, it's important to look at Hellebuck because the level of, he's got to play. Yeah, you're going to have to face Canada. It is what it is. But the rest of those teams are scrubs as I started looking at it more. Finland's Sweden, I mean, look, they're good international squads, but Finland round robin points under 3.5. It's pricey. It's minus 170. It's because Finland and Sweden are going to struggle against the USA and Canada. That's it. Top goal scorer, looking at Canada. How can you not look at Sammy Reinhart? I think these Florida Panther boys are going to have some ability in these tournaments. They're going to be playing with better talent. Not to say they're not good talent on the teams that they're with, clearly, respectively. But it'll lead me to one of the plays that I have for tonight. Like, you take a guy like Sidney Crosby and you stuff him on the third line, but you increase that talent level around him. How's he not going to be productive? And Sammy Reinhart, and by the way, I think Matthew Tkachuk are two guys you have to look at. Top goal scorer, and both of them are around plus 1,000, Sammy Reinhart and Matthew Tkachuk. And I expect him to be in that situation going into the final game. That's how I approached it, was who do I think is going to be going into the finals there? And I think it's Canada and US. Top goal scorer Kyle Connor for Team USA is another one I like out there. He's a plus 2,000 price tag. So these are all in DraftKings, by the way. You can get all these, and these are just reasonable numbers that are out there right now, right active today. Connor McDavid, total points over 5.5. He likes to tote the load out there with the Edmonton Oilers. How can he not go out there and be a fucking firecracker with all that talent that's around him? I mean, he making a pylon cone look good. You know the old pylon cone theory. If you put the pylon cone in front of the net and you give a guy like Connor McDavid the puck, he can bang it off that pylon cone just right that it goes in the net, and the pylon cone could actually lead in goal scoring. That's what Connor McDavid does out there on the ice. Total points over 5.5 is a must play. Must play. Team USA, Finland tomorrow. Tonight we've got Canada and Sweden. I got to take the puck line with Canada. Nathan McKinnon, Connor McDavid, Cal McCarr, Sidney Crosby. I mean, go on and on. Mark Stone. Come on. There's too much firepower and goal scorers. Minus 1.5 is plus 110. I'm taking the puck line. Now, there's a little uncertainty here. I like the over 6 when it was 6. It's moved to 6.5. Doesn't mean I don't like it. It's just I don't want to pay up for that hook because I don't know what Sweden's going to bring to the table. That's my concern. There should be a ton of speed. They've got offensive defensemen with Team Canada as well. That's an important designation. If you got offensive like a Cal McCarr, you're in trouble. That's why I think personally, Canada or USA opted for the fourth offensive guy on their power play unit. It's not something you don't see that. It's not uncommon to see that. It's just, to see the four guys. Jack Eichel, Jack Hughes, Austin Matthews. I mean, Jesus. Whoo! I'm taking Canada on the puck line. Also, a must-play prop. Sidney Crosby to get an assist or more. You could fuck around with, look, Braden Point, he's been crushing it down there in Tampa. He's the shooter. He's the guy that's essentially replacing Steve Stamkos. Essentially, sort of, kind of. And I like him. I like the line combo that he has out there. But no, give me Sidney Crosby. He's partnered up with Mark Stone and Nathan McKinnon. In fact, now that Nathan McKinnon's going to be the center, that just gives Sidney Crosby the ability to kind of navigate across the slot or on the outside and do what he likes to do. And that's pass the puck around. An older version of Connor McDavid. And he's the elder statesman on the squad as well. He should lead by example. He's going to want to see them young boys get fired up. Go out there and do what they do. One of the only remaining guys from the Team Canada national team for the Olympics. So I got Sidney Crosby 1+ assist at even money, plus 100. I've got Team Canada on the puck line at minus 1.5 at plus 110. I share a couple of those other thoughts because there are a lot of plays that you can make. There's a same game parlay bonus that's out there as well. So there's a lot of ways to get down with that action. That's how I chose to get down with it. Pretty straightforward. I think we see, team total over 3.5 for Canada. I don't see that not happening either. I think they're going to go out there and kick the shit out of these boys. And the big thing about this is, there's points, but it's round robin. So, they play each other once. There's no semifinals to see who advances, and goal differential could very much become a factor. So the stronger teams have to beat the piss out of the weaker teams. I expect I expect once we see like the first 2 games of the round robin, then we'll start to see who's kind of settled in from a defensive-oriented position, who needs what to win. Obviously, we'll see goaltenders will start coming out in the second part of the tournament. I think it's going to be a fun format. If you're just getting into hockey, check it out. It's going to be a good time. Let's go. Let's roll through this college and NBA card that we have here because it is meat day. Canada, -1.5. Did the kid to score a goal. Robert Morris, Cleveland State's going to pop off at 7 p.m. The Horizon League. Holy shit. Can you believe it? We got Horizon League action. A lot of games on the card. Obviously, a lot of spots that I wanted to get involved with, but I had to just ultimately, I thought I slimmed it down. I tried my best to slim it down, but a couple things going on. First of all, Robert Morris is a team that likes to go out there and pop the threes. They run and dash. They're a road dog. They went from 3.5 to 4.5, and you got 76% of the bets and 75% of the cash on Robert Morris. It's gone up a point. Got reverse line movement for Bobby Morris. Cleveland State, on the other hand, the total hasn't moved with 73% of the bets and 74% of the cash. That, to me, puts me in an under position with this game. We got reverse line movement on the dog. Favorites win, they tend to go under. We have no movement on the total with all that cash coming in on the over. Furthermore, 3 of the last 4 Cleveland State games have gone under the number. They have a pretty stout defense. They held Milwaukee to 60 points. They held IPFW to 58 points. Green Bay to 66. We know the Gottliebs are terrible. Detroit to 50. Cleveland State ain't fucking around. Bobby Morris, on the other hand, 2 of its last 3 games have gone under, but here's where we're kind of selling high. That North Kentucky game just came off a big over, an 81-76 win upset as a dog. Dogs and over. Favorites and unders. Furthermore, as I looked at this Cleveland State situation, again, I think this is one of those spots where the defensive style kind of drains you. It's a revenge opportunity for Cleveland State. And we got the 5 in a row factor. The 5 in a row. When we find a team in this position with the 5 in a row, they tend to fall to the under. Where's that 5 in a row going on? Well, if you go and you look, where'd it go? Robert Morris, 5 straight covers. What happens? Come that 6th time? Well, 53 out of 91 times, that following game goes to the under. Styles make fights. Bobby Morris, going to think they're in a tough position. Rolling into Cleveland State, should be fired up. We got reverse line movement galore in this thing. I'm on that Cleveland State. I took the under 140.5 as action opens up. Going to rapid fire St. Bonaventure and Rhode Island. Both these teams suck. If it was possible both these teams could lose, I would take that position. It's unfortunately not that case. Bet on Rhode Island the other day, they fucked me. Straight up, got me. St. Bonaventure is downright awful. You got 94% of the bets and 89% of the cash on Bonaventure. The line has now started to come down. Come down 0.5 point. This total is dropping like a rock from 145.5 to 142.5. And yeah, profile. I mean, I say they're terrible. St. Bonaventure is 17-8, are 17-8, but they're not playing in the A10. It's weird because the ACC, I feel like, has been suspect this year. The Big Ten seems to be pretty open for business. And the A10's got pretty much everybody shit in the bed collectively at any given time. And yeah, 15-8 for Rhode Island, but 4-7 in A10 play. Rhode Island in the favorite role has gone over 12 out of 17 times. Bonaventure's 11-13 to the under. This is what I was saying to Nasty Dave. This is what kind of scares me about this game. I think it's the game Bonaventure wins. We've got 3 straight losses for Bonaventure. They just came off a beatdown at home as 4.5-point favorites to George Washington, 62-52. Rhode Island, on the other hand, 3 of their last 4 games have been on the road, and they're coming back home. And they stink. They beat UMass, who's straight S. 88-82 as a 3.5-point favorite. 3 straight overs in a conference that likes to run to the under. I like to have my favorites and tied to the under, but I had to go to the under again. I'll tell you, I'm going to go to the under in almost every A10 game I can find, I think, moving forward. This one's definitely on the under list. Specifically, if you want to get into the A10 and the unders and exactly what you want to quantify what the fuck I'm talking about here, how about this? A10 conference unders, if it's less than a 10-point favorite, have gone under 33 of 42 times. It's 9-1 to the under in its last 10. It's on an 8-game rip. That's what's going on in the A10. This game's an under for me. I jumped in on Bonaventure under. I just took the full game under. I got too much action. I was going to take first half. I got a couple first half plays, but and this pretty much goes the same case for this Davidson and UMass team. Look, Coach, we're going to move fast tonight. Same deal. Shit teams. How do you define shit? Well, 4-8 in the A10. That's shit. UMass. Someone UMass with an 11-13 record is going to end up walking away, probably leading the A10 when it's all said and done. It's crazy. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely batshit nuts. This line opened up at 2.5. It's moved to 1.5 because a lot of people realize UMass is straight ass. 93% of the bets and 90% of the cash have come in on Davidson. Public clubs, they're road dogs. 54% of the bets and 57% of the cash have hit the under. The sharp, better, respected, better report came through, and it had this UMass under illuminated like a Christmas tree. Davidson probably has a get-right spot. I mean, this has got to be another situation. It makes me slightly nervous because I like my dogs to be tied to favorites or tied to overs. Doesn't make sense. Dogs tied to favorites. Doesn't even make sense. What are you trying to say? Trying to say this is another under position out there. You know, these two teams, pretty much dead split, over versus under. But we go back to the theory. What happens in these positions, A10 games, when it's less than a 10-pack, we see the unders. 4 of the last 5 UMass games have gone under. It's only when they play a shit team like Rhode Island that they go out there and put up 82 points. Otherwise, they got a 78-71, a 62, and a 74. They're not tipping the 80 iceberg unless they play a shit team in UMass. Davidson, on the flip side, 4 of their last 5 games have gone under. We got under country. We got second time through seeing a lot of these teams. Divisional play. These teams know each other very well. We're in the middle of the week, so there's travel. It's difficult to get around. It's cold. It's snowing. It's all that shit and misery that goes into the travel this time of year. And, look, Davidson's got a decided 3-point edge when they go to 3-point shooting. UMass ain't good at it. UMass rebounds. Kind of neutralizes each other if you want to get into the ticky-tack stuff and the X's and O's. If I shoot a bunch of 3-pointers and I miss them and your team's scooping up second chance opportunities, where's the ball going in? Furthermore, one of the better teams in the A10 that can't handle blocking business, keeping balls out of the net, frankly, it's UMass. And they have a huge advantage against Davidson. So, look, I don't think either of these teams are going to get to the free throw line very much. I don't think there's going to be a lot of fouling. I think the foul advantage probably does lead to UMass, but they're being at home, so I could see the refs kind of wanting to tout that direction. But under 147.5, that's the play for me. College hoops, Davidson, UMass, another A10. If you want that trend again, A10 conference games, go to the under. If it's off and under, it's 33-9. When those teams get going to the under, they stay under 33-9. 9-1 in their last 10. And the more you drill down the microscope, the more illuminated it becomes. Davidson and UMass give us that under. See, Nate says, I have tickets to the game and not going. I wouldn't go either. I guess I could get down with that, Nate. Celtics -3, Rhode Island +3, Providence +7.5. I'll tell you plenty. I don't know what I'm going to tell you. Let me think about what I'm going to tell you. Then I'll tell it to you. That's that. How'd that be? That be fine with you guys? There's a big card tonight. A little nervous. I got a lot of money stretched out. Here's your Providence game. Xavier and Providence lit up by respected, better analyses. Contrary to popular opinion, these teams are, Providence particularly, can be an under team. Xavier can be a team that likes to run with some pressure. when we look at these totals, where is it? Where'd you go? I believe this one's 8 p.m., isn't it? There it is. Yes, it is. And we got some movement. We got some reverse movement. However, respected action to be considered as well. This line opened at -1.5. It's moved to 2.5. The road team and Xavier. Both these teams stink. Again, 5-8 in conference, 6-7 in conference. 43% of the bets came in on Providence. 62% of the tickets. So the respected betting analysis is coming in on the dog. 71% of the bets and 70% of the cash are on the over. Xavier and Providence to the over. Lines come down 2 points. This is a tricky game for sure. Overall, between these two teams, split down the middle. Against the spread, they're both 12-12. Flip a coin if you're going to try to pick a side. Providence in the favorite role, they're 3-8 against the spread, but when they go to the dog roll, they surprise. They're 9-4. Xavier in the favorite role, they're 8-4. When they're in the dog roll, they're 4-7. I think because this is a coin flip, I think, we talk about the between the threes. When they're not sure what number, we talked about these last night, when they're not sure what numbers to put on them, tend to take, we look for the teams that are bad between the threes, for sure. But taking points can't be a bad game if you're looking for a side. Total-wise, Providence is 13-10 to the over, and they run hot at home. 8-6-1. Providence likes to gas. Xavier on the road, they're 4-4-1 to the over, so they're split down the middle. But look at recent form. Between these two games, in the last 10 games, 9 of them have gone over the number. Every single one of the last 5 for Xavier's gone over the number. So keep this in mind. We just talked about how they're split team. Xavier, where did they go? 4-4 on the road to the over. 4-4-1. And now we got 5 straight overs. They're finding form. They're trotting down the court, and they're not scared. 4 of the last 5 overs have hit the number for Providence. In fact, remember what I said about Providence? At home, they like to go over. Dig this. 4 of the last 5 games have been on the road, and they've gone over. In 3 of those 4. I'm sorry, fuck that number up. 3 have been on the road. 2 of the last 3 have gone over on the road. And they're a home team that likes to run over. The respected action came through and identified the over in this game. That's the spot that I took in there as well. The best number I can muscle up for you guys right now. Let's see. Where'd you go? Where did you go? 146.5 was the number that I was able to obtain. The latest number is still 146.5 for an 8 p.m. start. Contrary to looking at these two teams and thinking, boy, they could probably run under. There's nothing in the tea leaves that points to this game going under this total, other than the fact that it's 146.5, and that makes me a touch nervous. I prefer to be sitting around 142.5, but I don't make the lines. I just try to read them, and that's where I read this game here is going to see points, 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 and points. Nasty Nate. Blake M likes Washington plus 10.5. Fernando, USC Upstate over 162.5. Chosen One's in the house. He likes the Canisius Niagara under. That's a good under. There's another under squad. So I get you guys with a bunch of overs. I get you guys with a couple of unders, or a couple of unders and an over. Really struggling to speak today. Okay, this one's a little different. Missouri screwed me the other day. Missouri was the last leg of that parlay on was that Saturday where they got dunked by that fucking three-pointer at the wire like it was March Madness? They opened at 7.5. They've moved as high as 9.5. 70% of the bets and 73% of the cash have hit in on Mizzou. They are ranked in the nation. Number 21. It's not 321. It's number 21. I didn't hit the shift when I hit the 3. Sorry, guys. I was trying to do a lot today. And Oklahoma, who still hasn't really met much road competition, comes into this thing at 3-7 in the conference. This total's gone from 150.5 to nowhere. It's 71% of the bets and 72% of the cash have come in on the over. And, again, these conference teams, man, what the hell is going on? 16-7 is Oklahoma. 17-6 is Missouri. Would they play a bunch of shitbags out of conference in the early part of the season? It's got to be the way to go. And I got to take the Tigers in this game. They rallied back. It was Texas A&M. It was that fucking dagger. That kid had silky smooth hands and a quick release, man. Texas A&M had that ball with 9 seconds left. Mizzou fought all the way back from down double digits plus in that second half. They went on like a 14-point run. Then they had like a 4-minute drive with no results whatsoever. But they battled. They were battlers. Coming off that Tennessee game, you could understand that might have been a little bit of a look-pass situation. They lost to Tennessee 85-81. They were 9.5-point dogs, but they battled in that game. Fucking 3 cost me. It cost me over a dime. And it crushed me. I was yelling. When he hit it, man, you would have thought it was March Madness. You would have thought I was at a bar with 100 people. It was so loud. And it was just me. Oklahoma on the other side just had their spirit, their heart, and their soul ripped out, put into a stew, and then fucking served out for dinner. Tennessee dominated them boys 70-52 on their home court. Busted them up. It was ugly. They were 5.5-point dogs. They were never. The score makes it look closer than it was, and they lost by 18. They lost by 28 to Auburn before that. They did beat Vandy. Give them that claim to fame victory, but outside of that, this team has been pathetic and miserable. You see that evidence in their 3-7 number. The way I opted to play this game was the first half. Tackle that first half number. I got a -5 for the Mizzou first half. The thought process I had here is that's a big number and it's getting wider. So we're seeing 9.5. So I'm still good with that if that's the only number you can get, but I prefer to take that smaller portion of this thing with the 5 and thinking that these boys got to be pissed about that buzzer dagger after they worked hard to come all the way back and they're at home. Solid team, dominant performance, fell flat. And why did they fall flat? They started slow. So you got to come out and start fast this game. If you're the coach, it's the easiest thing to say. The Sooners have the 11th ranked defense in the SEC in 3-point rate allowed, but only make 31% of their threes. It's a mismatch. Mizzou's got to come out firing. They got to come out balling that 3 in there. That was the trick to success for them in that second half. I'll go first half. SEC. Oklahoma's defense is bad. I mean, you see their record. I just talked about their 3-point defense. Turnover rate, they're 14th in offensive turnovers. They're one of the worst two-way rebounding teams, whether it be offensive or defensive in the SEC. And they're coming off that soul-destroying situation against Tennessee. Yeah, Auburn was their Super Bowl. So the season's over. Pack it in. Maybe they backdoor cover. Mosier as a head coach and a road dog is 69-61 with a 53% win rate. When he's the visiting dog, Porter Mosier likes to go out there and find a way to cover. So I'm just going to take that first half. I dissected that thing down and said, just give me the 5. That'll be good enough for us. We're going to go to Cal and Duke, and this is just a shit battle with shit on top of shit. It's a late one, though. It's 9 p.m. start, so we like to have some action. This got 85% of the bets and 65% of the cash coming in on California. California. And the lines come down from 24.5 to 23. Still some bigger action not buying into California. It makes sense. Did you guys watch the way I don't know if you do watch the way these teams play. I do. This team's bad as well. 5-8. This is a tricky spot for them, though. That's a long road trip. That's a long plane. That's a long cross-country trek for Cal to come to Duke. This total started at 142.5. Really hasn't moved. You got 62% of the bets and 59% of the cash on the over. So they're getting, Vegas is getting nice. Books are getting, I know it's not Vegas. Books are getting nice action between these teams. Duke's 20-3, 12-1, and they're coming off of a loss. What do you think is going to happen? Now, we were on Clemson. I even said, wrong team's favorite. Clemson's a bunch of warriors. We've been dialed the fuck in with some of these teams. Clemson, Duke, Wake, and look, they're on a rip. They're beating teams up and down, laying 20-plussers. Number 2 favorite to win the March Madness tournament this year is Duke. Number 2. The entire country. And they're coming off a loss. Cal. Cal stinks. Now, maybe it's just subjective. They got the shit kicked out of them by Wake. I think Wake is a strong team. I looked at Wake tonight. Then I thought about fading Wake because they just lost it, or they just beat up Cal. And Cal's get their first road trip on top of things in the month of February. So they've had 12 straight days at home, 3 games between Syracuse, NC State, and Wake Forest. They beat NC State. What's wrong with the Wolfpack? Well, probably plenty. What do they struggle with? Scoring. Can't win if you don't score. 4 straight unders for this Cal organization. 151.5 goes under to SMU. 148.5 goes under to Syracuse. 139 goes under to NC State. Then they play Wake Forest. They get busted up, and it goes under 142.5 because they don't do what they need to do. Duke just came off a loss. Did I mention that? Let me tell you why I mentioned that. As bad as Cal is, and they're not scoring, I teed it up. Duke is a perfect 10-0 to the under in non-road games coming off a loss. If you don't like unders, you're not going to like my card tonight because I took this. I'm riding with them. Pissed off, fired up. It's a lot of number to lay. Not in the 20-point. I don't mind 16s, and I don't like them, but I don't mind 16 and 17s. I'm not in the 20-plus point business. I'll find another way to play it. Other ways I would consider playing this game, I'd take Cal's team total under. I'd take Cal's first half team total under. Duke's off a loss. Everything under about Cal that you can possibly play is the way to go. And I would consider overs. But you know what happens is when you lose a game, and this is what Duke does, and this is why they're one of the best, they're the number 3 in the country. After you lose, you go back to your basics. You play defense. You box up. You move forward. You shut it down. That's how we're going to shut that game down. We're going to take that spot. We're going to move on in here to Charlotte Hornets, Orlando Magic in college hoops. We've moved on to NBA hoops now. And we got the lowest total on the board. Spoiler alert, I'm taking the under. Charlotte, and I'll give you some reason here. We got the numbers open at 10.5. It's moved to 12.5. You got reverse line movement on the shitbag Hornets. It's gone from 77% of the bets and 75% of the cash, from 10.5 to 12.5. One of the best home teams in the NBA, in the association, are the Orlando Magic. This number came down to 202. It was 208 open, and immediately was sunk down to 202. It has popped back up to 203.5. 18,400 tickets on this thing. 85% of the bets, 82% of the cash. Sitting there looking at this over, and yet it's come down. It did, like I said, it did just kind of pop back up. It did just show its head. And I took the under. I told you already, previously aforementioned in this case. Orlando in the favorite role, 11-20 to the under. Orlando in the home role, 10-16 to the under. The Hornets in the dog roll, 14-30 to the under. It's the lowest number on the board for a reason. No sense in getting cute. 11-2 to the under after allowing fewer than 100 points are the Charlotte Hornets. 11-2 to the under. It dropped considerably despite all that cash. So we had that reverse line movement out there. It's going to be sweaty, but I don't think this game touches 200. 203.5 is plenty fine for me. Pacers and Wizards on the other side of things. If you don't like unders and you like overs, this is the game for you. This one went from 10 to 9.5 with 76% of the bets and 75% of the cash on the Washington Wizards. I had to look 3 times. Is this team really 9-44? And that gave me some pause because I thought, that's a bad team. How are they going to score enough points to get over a 239? But then I saw the number climb. 70% of the bets and 68% of the cash have hit the over in this one. And we got the Pacers running pace again. We talked about it. We've been cashing with them again. I feel like we've been pretty fortunate to get in front of some of these things that have happened, whether it be just dialed in or just leveraging trends, because we know at some point they're going to flip back and go in our direction. 30-22 to the over are the Pacers. When Washington's at home, they're 15-12. If there was any highlight for this team whatsoever, it's the fact that they're in the dog roll. They're 27-25 to the over. They're 15-12 to the over at home. And somehow, this is where my apprehension went away. 4 of the last 5 games have gone over. The Spurs had a 238 hanging on them. It was 131, 121. They put up 121 points. They're on their 4th home game, so they're comfortable. There's no road-weary Warriors here to get in the way of this team going out there and putting points up. 124, 111, 121. 124 against Cleveland, by the way. Cleveland. Flip side of things, we got 3 straight overs for the Pacers. Just played the Knicks, took the L, blew over the number. We were on the over. Smoked it. 230.5 goes over against the Clippers. 230.5 goes way over against all these teams. They're putting up 116, 117, 120 points. This is my favorite. We talked about this one the other day and we cashed on it. When you attempted more free throws than your opponent and you lost, the over is 52, 16, and 4 in favor of the Pacers on this one. That's one to write down. That thing continues to be our cash ticket. You lost and you had more free throws than the opponent. 52, 16, and 4 to the over. Cut and dry. Not a lot of derivatives or variables. Doesn't account for rest. It doesn't matter about the other team's road or number of games. It's just you got more free throws and you lost. And you're 52, 16, and 4 to the over. I think it's good enough. The Hawks and the Knicks. I'm excited about this game. I parlayed this game. I did a little same game, a little 2-leg parlay, I guess. It's probably the best way to look at it. Oh, you know what I did too? I'm sorry, I added a leg. I added a spot. Excuse me. I jumped in on with all this action, I added a spot. Can you believe that? The Spurs and the Celtics open at 9.5. Starting to see it drop to 8.5, down to 8s, even 7.5. You have 72% of the bets and 69% of the cash on the Celtics. Not me, I'm on the Spurs. 231.5 has gone really nowhere with 84% of the bets and 86% of the cash. I like the over in this game as well. Over and dogs correlate to me for sure. We saw the Brown news. Tatum's a scrub. Continue to say Tatum's a scrub. Wemby's back. He's been balling. He's been getting his blocks. He's been doing his thing out there to contribute and keep Boston's points off the board. Couple things going on. Somewhat of an intersecting point, but I'll just give you guys the nitty-gritty on the Celtics. They're 3-19 their last 22 games, coming off a spread margin greater than or equal to 10. They're 2-18 in those games with a line that's greater than -5. They're 1-7 against the spread against the Western Conference. You know my deal. Teams are built to play within their division, within their conference, and when you see a record pop out like that, you got to take advantage of it. They're 2-14 in their last 16 games, coming off a spread margin of 15 or more. I can give you some. There's Spurs numbers that correlate with this. I'm on the Spurs. I like it's too many points. Does the wrong team that they fuck around and end up winning outright? Maybe. Wouldn't entirely surprise me. It would surprise Nasty Nate, I think, but not me. I think this is a situation where we got a live dog in this squad. Always tough to go into the Garden and upset, but look, they've been on the East Coast, so they don't have travel woes. They don't have any issues with the travel side of the business here. Just a matter of them finding a way to get on top of this thing. Get in front of it, go out there, play your game, hold them boys down, come out with this victory. At least cover 9 points. Jesus, 9 points? Just don't get blown out. That's what we're talking about here, right? Let's be honest. Just don't get blown out. Do what you got to do. Just don't get blown out. We should be plenty fine for this game with the Spurs. Trying to move quick. Trying to move fast. Oh, sorry. Hawks and Knicks. Jesus. Hawks and Knicks. I'll be short. I took Trae Young and I took the Hawks. 8.5 as a road dog is too many points. 85%, 86% of the cash. The Hawks, what did we learn about the Hawks the other day? They're winning a lot. And they're not playing defense for shit. 240 and this back number has moved to 241.5 with 73% of the bets and 71% of the cash on the over. Ultimately, there's a couple ways you can look at this. There's a couple. Let me tell you this. Let me me tell you this. Trae Young. You heard of him? He's going to be a problem. Here's why. He had the chip on his shoulder. He got skipped out of the All-Star game. Then Giannis is injured, so he won't go to the All-Star game, and they'd call Trae Young in. Fire him up. And his last game, now with the chip on his shoulder, getting the nod, getting fired up and having momentum and motivation, his last game before the All-Star break happens to be at Madison Square Garden. Why is that important? Because he owns the Knicks in Madison Square Garden. His number is through the roof. His points, rebounds, and assists is 40 at minus 110. It's a huge number. Overall, in the playoffs, I mean, he dominates these boys. First and foremost, 4-1 did Atlanta go against the Knicks in the playoffs. Young eliminated him. That's back in 2021. So I know it's a couple years ago. But don't you remember? Don't you remember when he was doing the dice roll? Remember that? 1-0 in the NBA Cup against him as well. All he likes to do is go out there and thump on these Knicks at home or in the Garden. And so the way I attack this one, straight shooter here with you guys, right to the point with this one. I wanted to get some plus money out of it. I wanted to take advantage. I got the Hawks at +8. I think they probably could certainly be a live dog. I got the points, rebounds, and assists for Trae Young at 38.5. Atlanta +8. Trae Young's PRA 38.5. That's a +260. You can find all my action at BetStamp. Mikey Money. You'll see it recorded in there, the record-keeping purposes. The record's kind of fucked up because they don't track. If I do this parlay, they're not going to track this. Kind of bullshit. Frankly, it's real bullshit, and they don't have any plans on changing it. But if I add Trae Young over 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists, and Atlanta +8, they'll put it into my unit count when you look at the accounting and see the actual dollar value that we're up. We're up like 40 units now. They won't count this win, though. So it's kind of fucked up. Trying to find a different solution for that. But nonetheless, over 38.5, +8 for Atlanta, +260. Get us moving, keep us rolling down the line. What do we got? 2 games left? 3 games left? 3 games left? Let's go. Phoenix Suns, Houston Rockets. It's a big card. It's a big card. The biggest card. +6 has gone to 9.5 for the Suns. Big road dogs here. 89% of the bets, 87% of the cash on the Suns. It's dropping. What do we associate our favorites to? There's a lot of development that goes into this here. Not just sharing plays, but just, repetition. When you guys start to look at the card on your own, you're going to be like, shit, the A10 goes under. Favorites and unders. 223.5. We've seen some 224s. 86% of the bets and 81% of the cash. So there's subtle movement. 224s have come. They bottomed out now. So in the last place, who's not playing? Let's look. Beal, of course. Booker's out. Grayson Allen's out. Martin, Micic, Beal. Of course, on the other side of things for the Rockets, Jabari Smith. Probably a good opportunity to jump in on the Rockets now that I see this. Suns like to go over on the road. They're 17-9 to the over. Houston's 10-13 to the under at home. Where did that go? Please hold. Please hold. Shit, where did my Suns... Where did my Suns try? Now, I was trying to move quickly. I was trying to get this done. And now here we are. Can't find my Suns trend. Sorry. I don't know why I don't have it. I don't know where it went. Let me look one more place. Road dogs. Suns find themselves in an 0-7 spread spot when the total's over 220. But I can't find my total trend on that. Sorry, what a show killer. I'm on the under. I took the under in this game. Damn it. Where did it go? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm on the under. Sorry. Dallas and Golden State matters. Here's a big one for us. Here's a Warriors spot to come out and play. 9:30 p.m. This line opened at 3.5. It's moved as high as 7. Lots of cash coming in on the Dallas Mavericks. 56% of the bets, 54% of the cash, but the line is moving towards the Warriors. This line went from 232.5 to 233.5 with 93% of the bets and 93% of the cash on the over. Recent performances. Well, overall between these teams, Dallas Mavericks, they get their big AD move. AD's not going to have surgery. He's going to try to heal. It's going to take some time to heal that. Was it the abductor? I don't know. Conductor? Whatever. He fucking fleeced everybody. Maybe not. 2 and 3 are the Mavericks in their last 5 games. They had those 2 wins. They made the trades. They beat Boston 127-120 as a 12-point dog in the Garden. They come back home. They beat Houston as a 3-point favorite. Then they lose to the Sacramento Kings 129-128. Golden State Warriors back-to-back wins. This is their 5th straight road game. Generally, you know my situation at that 5 number. It's tough to get over that 5 hump. For sure, for real, on the real. But this is a spot to take advantage. We got a Dallas fade situation here. You know, the under for Dallas, 20-5 in its last 25 home games when they popped off more than 25 assists. Unders associate to favorites. Dallas is 0-14 when the spread's less than 12 off a home game that was decided by 4 or less. And they were out-rebounded by at least 3. They're going and they're losing those games by 10 points a clip. 10 points a clip. If that wasn't good enough, underdogs on a win streak of 3 games or more against the spread are 7-54, losing by 10 points a game in those spots as well. I looked at Golden State. It was all Golden State for me. Golden State Warriors, 11-0 against the spread. Road favorite, total less than a 230. That's it. Road favorite, total less than 230, 11-0 against the spread. They're smoking the number by 18 points. An average of 18 points in an 11-game trend is phenomenal. And we just talked about Dallas in their fade position. We're taking the Golden State Warriors. We're going to ride the steam. We're going to close this game out with the Memphis Grizzlies and the LA Clippers. Last game of the night, last game on the card. It's a big, robust card here. Lots of action, lots of chance to put my neck in the guillotine here. It opened at 3.5 for the Grizzlies. It's gone as high as 5.5. And you got 93% of the bets and 92% of the cash. Why? Because one of the best teams on the second end of a back-to-back with no rest are the Memphis Grizzlies. 235.5 is the total. It's gone up to 237.5. So the expectation is points, are points. 87% of the bets and 86% of the cash. Looking to bang away on this over. This over seems a little too high to me. I like my unders and my Clippers. Not my Clippers, but Although just took down Utah. They're on their 4th straight home game. They lost to the Lakers. They lost to the Pacers. They splashed the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz stink again. The Grizzlies are 4-1 in their last 5. And what I say, one of the best teams on the second leg of the back-to-back across the NBA. Here's where it differs, though. If you look at those games and you look at the schematics between those games, their margin in first halves is plus 13. Second leg of a back-to-back. Memphis margin in the first half, plus 13. Margin in the second half, minus 2. That tells you everything you need to know about this game. They come out strong. They find a way to match the points or the number that's out there, and they die in the end. They get tired. They just gas out on the second leg of a back-to-back. That's what you would expect to happen anyways. That's what I expect to happen. I jumped in. I took Memphis only in the first half of this game. Only Memphis first half. What was the number that I got? Let me see. Let me go to BetStamp under Mikey Money and see what I got that. Plus 3.5 for the first half. It was a minus 115. So there's some threes out there that were minus 104s and 105s. And I wanted the hook. I believe in that stat. I think the Clippers are certainly in a sell position right now. They did just beat that Utah team, but too little too late for me. I'm going to jump in. I got Memphis in the first half. It's a big card. It's a busy card. And I started late, so I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to talk to everybody in the chat. I appreciate all you guys. My man, Gracia, coming through with the 1999 super sticker. Whoa! Brother, you are the man. I appreciate you always being here, rocking with us. Shout out to Bo Jackson. He just fist bumped Brandon Ingram. Nice, dude. Peter Gracia, my friend, thank you so much. Loyal listener, supporter. Ride with us, man. You know, you're ride or die. We appreciate you. Let's go. Let's do it, my friend. Appreciate you blessing our action. Let's get it. Thank you, Peter. Big 1999 super sticker. That's a huge blessing for our action. Let's go, my friend. Fill the kill. This is Mikey out there turning bars up on the solo. Let's go. Thank you guys all for rocking here. Shout out to KV. I see her in there. I'm sorry, again, I didn't get a chance to talk to all you guys here through the chat, but it was a busy card, as you can see. Lots of action. Lots of plays to get invested with here tonight. Tail them all. Be selective what you want. I certainly believe we're going to go crush it down. Peter, thank you, man. Thank you, Blue. Appreciate you guys. And again, I know we started late, so my apologies. We'll be on time tomorrow. You can find us out there Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. doing just this. Appreciate you guys. And, of course, check out First Strike. We'll have that released tonight at 10 p.m. I'll tell you what, I got a doozy. I got a doozy out there. I can tell you this. It's plus one. Well, there's a couple ways I'm going to play it. Plus 145 will probably ultimately be the way I get to the window. The morning steam, you're right, Perky, starts with my man, Ramon Scott, at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Be there or be square. Appreciate everybody. You know what? For the blessing of our action here with Peter and my man, gifting the sports money memberships as well. Shout out to Redbeard. Shout out to Peter. Let's close this thing up with that outro track and the bars by our man, Jay Peasy. See you guys tomorrow. Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. We don't stop. Bring sleep or snow. Pregaming is good to go.
Snow, Curtis blow, flow, fuck all you haters. Fuck making bitch using best simulators. Fuck cashing in, all we wanna do is win. Put the juice in the gin, now it's time to begin. Fuck the books, they can take it on the chin. Surrendering dividends, don't fuck with my game. The show starts with capping and ends with them slapping and stacking cash and boatloads. They won't know what happened. It's pre-gaming and others, they seem lame. Like Abel meeting Cain, a bullet to the brain. We don't give a fuck like Kiki said. We ain't playing. We ain't playing, but we ain't playing.
I'm back and I'm joined with my guy,